This is another tale.
My Soulcalibur percent has a bunch of characters based on other characters. For this, I'm going to go ahead and this run I'm going to go ahead and just do some of the basics real quick. Yeah. There it is. Okay. So for probably the last time, I'm going to try to explain a little bit. I haven't started the timer yet because I created this and I want to start the timer draft so I make my characters. Because I think it's more fun that way. Sometimes I make characters that are based on other characters I have in other games. Sometimes I make mostly... I have no idea. Sometimes I make mostly semi-generic characters. Sometimes I like to base them on characters of my own, you know, to create it. I can't remember which one I said first, but yeah, that. This time I'm doing pretty simple. Unit type. Equips, Soulcalibur. Okay. Here we go. Soulcalibur 3, Chronicles of the Sword. It's a special mode created for Soulcalibur 3, where you play this tactical role-playing game. Most of the fighting is done in Soulcalibur format, of course, because it's a Soulcalibur game. But It's a very interesting thing. Soulcalibur 3 was exclusive to the PS2, the only game that was, and especially the only game that was exclusive between 2 and 5, both of which were multi-platform. Part of the reason was because they introduced the character creation method and wanted to work on that rather than trying to port the game to multiple systems. And they created this mode especially for it, so there's a cult following for it, which of course I am a major member because creating your own characters and using them in this game is a lot of fun. And there's a lot of battles in this 20 Chronicle format we have to go through. We have to start with the tutorial. You don't have to start with the tutorial if you do a New Game Plus, for whatever reason. You know, it's only when you start a new game, but even though I've started hundreds of new games with this save file, it makes me play the tutorial every time, which is annoying, because that's 4 extra minutes. As Gerard was telling us, when you meet a unit in battle in the field, you'll start attacking each other. You can command the unit to start the Soulcalibur battle instead, which I'm going to do for most of the entire game. As soon as I can. A few cases I'll delay it, and then only a few times I'll actually let them battle out, and never in the first 19 Chronicles and the tutorial. Because primarily I'm going Bandit. Bandit is the second fastest movement on the map, and the second fastest speed at destroying citadels. That is ideal for the speedrun because there's a lot of map to go through and a lot of citadels to destroy. If I choose one or the top at one or the other, they have the lowest of the other. Cavalry are the fastest but do the least damage to strongholds. Knights do the most damage to strongholds but are far and away the slowest, so they're not worth using. But the drawback to bandits is that they do no damage and take huge damage if they try to fight on the field, so I'll, as I say, never do that unless I'm just trying to delay slightly to allow other units to join. So as you can see, it takes a bit to load a battle, so one of my primary techniques and tactics in moving around the map is trying to minimize the number of different battles I have to go through. In the tutorial, nobody moves around. There are a few citadels to conquer and a few guys standing around, but I'm just going to ignore all of them and go straight for the main stronghold. Because why would you do otherwise? If I were playing on 100%, of course, I would go for all strongholds, all characters, defeat all enemies. Probably add several hours to the run.
Battle 1, fight! You should really give up. Battle 2, fight! You should really give up. It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
There are 13 classes in Soulcalibur 3. I've chosen to make my main character a dancer. For what reason should be obvious now, as you've seen. This is Soul of Shanghua she's using. There are 17 custom weapons that were made just for this format, which are, you know, they are not as sophisticated as normal Soulcalibur weapons. They seriously are a bit different. And then there are and then of course there are 23 Soulcalibur characters you can... Oh, blast. I forgot. That's time waste. Welcome to the shop.
Welcome to my store. Can I help you find something? Farewell, good luck.
You can see my money's maxed out. I play this game with everything unlocked pretty much, except for a few things that can only be locked through super... a few unimportant weapons that have no stats and are Ul'Qadan's versions for defeating Ul'Qadan, the story mode. Very minor things like that on some of my characters. Some of them have it anyway, because I've done it on story mode. But I've unlocked pretty much everything can be unlocked in this mode, and that could do anything for me. Everything that I can buy from the shop has been bought already, so it's all about just using everything I have to win the game as soon as possible. I figure that's the best way to speedrun this, because otherwise you're wasting time unlocking stuff, and there might be some possibility in having some fun with that, but it's also very difficult to do every time you want to do a fresh one with it, because you would have to totally delete your save game file off your memory card before starting, which would be a serious pain. But so I have dancers. Dancer is my main character because each class can equip 3 of those 17 weapons and then 2 of the Soulcalibur weapons of the 12 primary classes. And Dancer is the only one that has access to Soul of Xianghua, which has the spin move, which I call spin to win, or Xianghua's spin move usually, but it's a spin to win because, yeah, it's very dominant. The computer has a very hard time blocking it, and it does a large amount of damage, so it can be used to very quickly blow opponents away. And once you knock them down with the first one, it's pretty much a guaranteed stun lock. Now I have to immediately move through here, or I will get caught and in a battle, which I avoided. It's pretty easy to avoid, but it's a pretty big time loss if I don't do it, and kind of embarrassing. There's a lot of little movement tech and optimizations in just selecting characters. Although I move around like this and I can select other characters, my R1 and L1 buttons have a memory of who they're sitting on, and they go in order in the order I select my units to enter the battle, so if I remember where that's at, I can more easily order people around, especially when I'm not just running in a single line like this. He conquered that citadel, but he won't reach me before I reach Abylia. Story-wise, we're in Chronicle 1. We are part of the Grandall Empire, and we are a military, in the military academy. We're a cadet training to be a captain of forces, and so this is a training exercise against the other sharpest woman of the academy, Abylia. Unskippable cutscene here where Abylia introduces herself.
Good luck to you. Fight with all your might, as I will.
Battle 1. Fight.
Abylia is technically a boss. This is Abylia 1. I'll fight her again much later. Not that hard. Very few of the enemies early on are any difficulty whatsoever. And I've got some time loss here from the shop.
You should really give up. I'm sorry, but I must move on.
There's some pretty amusing little things like going into the shop accidentally, because the time load can take a bit of time. If I also try to save my game between Chronicles, that will also take up a bit of time. So my fights went perfectly, so this time loss is pretty much all due to accidentally entering the shop. There's 15 seconds right there. Now we're to fight General Gerardo to graduate from the academy. This map is the first instance of real AI and programming. Most of the time, your basic programming that most units have is to sit and defend their area, possibly advance towards a new area, and if the citadel comes under attack, they will fall back to it. However, these two characters, Xiaoxin and Jinkai here, they are programmed to charge straight towards my main place down the lane that they're in, and only try to take my citadel, so I can safely ignore them. If I were to fight them and defeat them, the first one I defeated would later on in a couple of Chronicles down the line temporarily join my crew and bring a tiny bit of dialogue, but as you can see, you skip dialogue in battle so fast that it saves the frames anyway, not to recruit them, plus not having to fight them is fine. But Edith, who's down in the southern citadel, I'm not fighting right now. For the most part, it's really easy, especially in the early game, but
It looks like I won today,
there are
but who knows what'll happen next time.
instances where the computer will just decide to start attacking aggressively, which totally ruins the playstyle I have as a speedrun, I obviously am trying to win as soon as possible, and I'm an aggressive playstyle anyway. I'm not very good at blocking or defensive tactics, but I know how to fight very quickly and overwhelm the computer, so that's what I generally do. A drawback to the Dancer is that the Dancer has horrible stats. All of your characters do have different stats, and the Dancer is tied with the Thief for probably the worst in the game. I haven't leveled them to 99 to compare who's actually worse, but I haven't really looked at that in a long time, but they're bad. But the Soul of Shanghua's, that spin move is so powerful, it's decent enough to make my main character that, and it'll allow me to pretty quickly and easily go through most of the game. However, because the Dancer's stats are so bad, I can't get that many levels on more than one character, so I can't afford to... I risk too much by having a whole group of Dancers, plus there are other times where Soul of Changhua is not going to do it for me, and I need to rely on other weapons that the Dancer doesn't have access to. So I make the rest of my characters Sword Masters. Sword Master is the ultimate class unlocked after you've mastered the 12 other classes through this mode.
You are strong. One day,
Here's Gerardo.
you will succeed in life. Of course, only if you manage to defeat me.
And the 12...
Fight.
Oh, thank you, Gerardo. Gerardo often gets very aggressive. The longer their weapon is, the more likely they are to be aggressive and attack me before I get to them.
Really give up.
There's really nothing you can do at the end of battle to shorten it short of not throwing them, because that's the only thing that can slightly delay the end of the thing. And also, if you ring out, the battle ends a lot quicker.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
But, so you defeat the Gerardo the General. Anyway, Sword Masters, once you've mastered the 12 other classes, gotten a character in that class up to at least level 30 in all of them, you can unlock the Sword Master, which cannot use any of the original Soulcalibur character weapons, but the 17 created specifically for this, they can use all of them. So that's a wide variety. I equipped the katana on all of them for now, because that's the other best overall weapon, and you'll finally get to see them in action here, as well as a little thing. Type infantry. I'm switching to infantry here in order to go slower, actually. It's kind of one of the interesting things about the speedrun is that there are certain instances, like this one, where going the very fastest that you can down somewhere will actually lose time, just because of how it positions enemies that you're going to be facing. And in this case, the previous modes, both in the tutorial and the first two Chronicles, the main objective, the only objective was to defeat the enemy stronghold. So all you had to do is charge in there. However, this Chronicle has the objective of defeating all enemies. Not every stronghold, but every enemy on the map has to be defeated. So I can't just charge down the bottom lane and quickly destroy the main citadel to win, which is my usual preferred strategy. I have to go down both lanes so that I can intercept and kill all of their units, or else I'll have time lost trying to chase after them once I defeat their citadel. So I'm going down this top lane with my main character so I can deal with these guys, and down the bottom lane with the other two so they can get to the main citadel and defeat the boss as quickly as possible. However, as you can see these at the wonderful map here during the loading screen, there are two units pulling out of those strongholds off to the left and are heading towards this upper stronghold. And if I attack with a bandit, because bandits are so fast, I will destroy that stronghold before they get there, and then I'll have to fight multiple battles, at least one more battle. It's a time loss, and it's just not a good thing to worry about. So that's the katana. Katana shoulder charge is almost as dominating as the spin move, and sometimes even quicker. It's during the mid-game the Dancer will really shine. Otherwise, it's a little bit faster to be using Sword Masters early on. But as a infantry, I will actually do just enough damage to the stronghold to destroy it right after those two enter in. And then that's the only stronghold the infantry's really going to be worrying about. They'll also be able to help me destroy the main one. But the thing about your primary strongholds, which are always level 4, level 5, is that they take less damage from bandits. Bandits do the same amount of damage to them as infantry do, so I actually don't lose any time whatsoever doing it that way. So
Battle 1. Fight.
there are a couple of interesting things I can do after knocking their shoulder charge to juggle them. If they have a decent amount of hit points and I'm in a ring with some low edges that are pretty close that I can ring out over, I'll try to use a jumping spin kick to knock them aside as well. You'll see that a few times. And if I'm playing really well, I will be able to differentiate between the two quite easily. Because they have low hit points, it's not worth the time to waste doing that, but... that's a slight error too. You can go all the way. Don't have to worry about anything else. Battles, commanding your units efficiently is one of the main ways to do your speed time here. Whenever you enter into a decisive battle, a Soulcalibur battle, whoever is involved in that fight, their commands end once the battle is over, and you have to totally recommand them. Just stand still until you give them new orders. However, if they don't get involved in a fight, they will retain their orders even as they pass through multiple... even if they conquer multiple strongholds and stuff, just as far as you'll take them along the line. So, as you saw in the very beginning, you may have noticed that with my third character I delayed a bit before having her follow the second character, and that was intentional so that only the character in the lead would meet the enemy on the field and defeat him, and only he would lose his command. And my other character I wouldn't have to issue orders to. Since the game pauses when you issue orders, it is definitely a big thing about speedrunning to minimize the amount of time you're in the order menu by efficient and not going too far as well. If I order people to run past the citadel, I'm going to have to fight at it. It's a waste of time. So, just little things like that. And I'm pretty good with them, but it's very, very hard to be totally masterful at it. Now, you may have noticed that there's a guy over in this citadel on the left, and I'm totally ignoring it, heading towards the main. Well, you may remember I said last time that most of your units are programmed to defend the main citadel, and this is no exception. Once I start at main citadel, he will fall back into the main citadel, and that's the last one I'll have to take. I'll just fight 3 guys in there. So, that's that in action. Story-wise, we are now, we've graduated from the academy, we're defending a small border patrol, and we're attacked by bandits. Now, there's something fishy about these bandits who attacked our post in the middle of the night. As you'll see at the start of this battle, some of them have interesting dress, which may look a little familiar. If you're counting all of these hits, do 4, including the bandits. You also may have noticed the speed difference between bandits and infantry on the field. But this map is small enough that the infantry saves time just by getting all those fights into one clump. It loses a minimal amount of time in running around. On my last Soulcalibur percent, I forgot to change him to an infantry, and I did end up losing time because of it. It's only a small amount, but every amount counts. And that includes the time it takes to switch to Bandit and everything. Thank you for cooperating. None of these guys have been aggressive and mean enough to actually defeat me, but you've seen what a difference it can make between them sitting there and politely taking my hits and then suddenly deciding to be aggressive out of nowhere, which they usually aren't. Chester, or question mark, as he's known now, he has amnesia and is under control of a slave collar. No, not actually. He's, Dagger uses bombs, yeah, totally unfair. Chester, we don't know who this guy is, but his 2 previous lackeys were dressed in a Grandall uniform, which is integral to the story in a small way, and Chester
have
himself
absolutely no intention of dying here.
has no intention of dying here. He's done his work, apparently, and now he's going to run away. And we're going to watch him go. And look very consternated about it. Swordmasters, besides being the ultimate class that can use so many different weapons, have the best stats in the game by far, which is why I prefer most of my characters to be them. Those fights didn't go well, so I didn't match my very nearly totally optimized PP. Plus a slight mistake. Actually, I'll leave that. This one is also small enough that it actually saves time not to switch back to infantry. Because with 3 characters I destroyed that citadel too fast. Crap. That's... so I'm playing any percent today. Most of the time recently I've been practicing my Soulcalibur percent. But my any percent here is... obviously it's any percent. You try to win as fast as possible. And in Soulcalibur percent, I try to defeat the 23 Soulcalibur characters are spread throughout the 20 Chronicles as optional bosses, like Astaroth is in that one right there. So this is the first map where it would be different on Soulcalibur percent. I'd have to run a character down there to defeat Astaroth. I go a little bit different route to get there as well. So because then I can remain a bandit and it just kind of flows better. But this is Luna 1. So Dalkia has just declared war on us, this yellow empire here.
You're certainly a handful.
Or kingdom of
I shall
Dalkia.
remember your name, as you are the only one who has provided a worthy challenge.
Battle 1. Fight.
They've declared war on us. They claim that some of our forces attacked their border guard, which if you remember the bandits being dressed as Grandall forces, sounds kind of suspicious. So that is a little actual plot element that they do slightly go into detail about later on.
Let's settle.
Battle 2. Fight.
You should really give up.
So Luna is the captain leading this force.
Battle 3. Fight.
We develop quite a rivalry with her. She is actually the character you fight more than any other. You fight Luna 4 times in this game. So she's a pretty significant adversary. Not that difficult though. You may notice that a lot of these Soulcalibur weapons, if you've only played other Soulcalibur games, haven't seen them, but the weapons custom made for this mode have major similarities to other people's weapons. Like you've seen a lot of the sword and shield, which obviously is based on Cassandra and Sophitia especially, who was the first human to use that style. And Luna there had a sword style which is more or less modeled after Xianghua's. And a lot of them actually have moves, so when they're using them you can see they were taken directly from these other Soulcalibur characters. Right, that's why they're considered cheap, but we're gonna have to stop at some point, I believe. This one has a few little quirks in its yeah, that's what I thought. This one has a few interesting quirks in its character movement. In the AI, the way the enemies react. There's nothing random about the battlefield here. Your characters do a set amount of damage to each other and to citadels. I'm trying to be the dancer with the sword here. Your Your characters do a set amount of damage. The enemies always move a certain way, but it depends on how you move. They always react to you. So if something seems random, it's because you did something different. And so if I do something different, I usually have memorized what's going to happen when I do specific movement patterns, but if I mess up in some way, then the script does it where it gets thrown off, and then I have no idea what's going on. Okay. You're going to see my first instance of fortifying here. I haven't talked about it, but strongholds have up to 5 levels. Normally they have 3. 1, 2, and 3, of course. And then at higher levels, 4 and 5 are only available to the 2 main strongholds. Usually they'll be the same level, either 4 or 5, but there are some maps where yours will have 4 and the enemies will have 5, or vice versa. Of course, it takes gold to fortify, which since I have infinite gold and I get gold at the other map, I have infinite gold essentially, because I can't possibly spend it on anything except for fortifying citadels, and and I get money at the end of every map. And even if I conquered and fortified every citadel in the entire map, it wouldn't. I couldn't possibly end the Chronicle with less than maximum money, because I just get so much from that, and it's so cheap to fortify. I fortified in this case just so my stronghold would not get taken out before I get here, which probably is unnecessary. It's a safety strat I use, but in this case can probably skip. I'll use it from time to time in here. Arion is a unique enemy. All of the enemies in the game that you encounter can be created in the custom character model. That's one of the neat things about it. I could make a perfect copy of Luna, for instance, if I wanted, or Abelia. But this guy and one other enemy in Chronicle, at the end of Chronicle 17, are unique in that they are exceptionally large. I don't know why, but they just have a much bigger model, and they are extremely tall, as you can see. He towers head and shoulders above me, but
It looks like I got lucky.
so they can't. So I couldn't create. I can create somebody who looks just like them, but he wouldn't be as tall. It's just kind of a weird thing. It's kind of interesting. You can see how optimized my early on my any percent is, because going into the shop killed me 12 seconds, and I haven't really been able to make up any of that time. Not very much. Couple of unique things about this map. Back to bandits now. I'm not going to be infantry again for a very long time. That really sucks. Usually your cursor is supposed to start on your main character, but sometimes it's really hard to get the directional pad to move through these guys. Right. It's something that's just rough. So, usually it starts on your main character, but when they're in a clumped group like that, sometimes they'll get on a different character, and once again, the R and L buttons had to, regardless of who you click on or where you go, they have certain characters that they have a memory of being on, so if you remember that even while you're moving around looking at the map, you will you can know who it's going to be at your R1 and L1. Well, it starts on your main character, so you can't reach them with R1 or L1 until you go to somebody else. And usually it starts on your main character, which is fine, but if it goes off your main character because they're all clubbed together and it decides to be on somebody else, makes it a little bit trickier and to work around. So anyway, in this map, among the interesting things about it is that there's a secondary loss objective. Normally you have 2 things you can lose to. If you lose your main citadel, you lose, and if you lose all of your characters, you lose. This one has a tertiary loss condition where if I lose this citadel that Michiko is defending, I will lose. And I'll have to restart the Chronicle over. If you lose the Chronicle, it's not a super big deal. It's a time loss, but that's all, because you have to start the Chronicle over. But you get to keep any experience you got from defeating or losing to enemies. So, since there are a set amount of enemies to defeat, the way to grind in this game is actually to lose or to completely play a lot of New Game Pluses. Ring out. Ring outs don't automatically win, but they do do half of the opponent's main maximum HP and damage. So if you get if you lose by ring out twice, you lose the fight and you're defeated. If your characters are defeated, you'll see it eventually. That you get a recharge bar, and eventually they'll respawn in the nearest level 3 citadel. So one of the advantages to having level 3 or higher citadels is that they're a respawn point for characters who are defeated if that happens, although usually doesn't happen in casual play. You've seen a few effects now like Cure on characters. One of the neat things about Chronicles of the Sword is that these strongholds have what they call missions, like poison, and those have various effects on the characters in the battle. And the effect of it is determined by the level of the stronghold as well. That's another way in which the stronghold levels make a difference. Higher level strongholds, they're more powerful, and also at low levels, 1 or sometimes 2, depending on what the mission is, they will affect both characters indiscriminately, but at higher levels they will only affect, you know, if it's like Cure, where it's good, it will only affect the, they will only affect, positive traits will only affect the defender, and negative traits will only affect the attacker. To put it simply, I think it's easy enough to understand. There's some really neat ones you'll see later on too, and some that are really frustrating, like ice. For some reason this morning I'm having a particularly hard time switching mental gears between the commands I use to dominate with Dancer and the ones I use for Swordmaster.
It was a decent match.
Trying to Katana as a Shanghua Dancer and trying to spin move as a Swordsman, it doesn't work out. This is, among the interesting things in this fight is that you don't necessarily have to fight the boss of this map. That's Rowan there, the cavalry. For some reason, he is, wanders around. He has a semi-random AI that it's really hard to judge what exactly prompts him to do things. I don't believe that any of the characters' AIs are truly random, but if there is one, he's the one. Because he, oh, I forget that he comes out, so I'm going to have to give at least 2 reorders. Forgot about that for a second. That guy goes through instead of... It's really... Most of the time your enemies move to defend places, and that's all they do. So when they actually move through a citadel to meet you before you reach there, it really throws off my thing. And even though it's fairly consistent, it's rare enough that it's hard to remember. You don't see it very much at all after this. There I could have just probably knocked him out rather than ring him out. I could have done it quicker by doing an air juggle. As I say, you'll see that occasionally. I'll try to do that kick move when I shouldn't be because they're too weak. But it's really good to do that against tougher opponents if there's an open ledge somewhere nearby. Try to maneuver them into place so I can knock them off. None of the... Jeez, wasting some time there. So Rowan runs around outside, and so you don't even have to fight him inside of his citadel. When I play this on 100%, this is the only citadel I ever conquer that's main stronghold that's empty, because if you attack from every angle, all the units will come out to meet you rather than rushing back to defend. The only reason they're coming back to defend is because I'm attacking now. So I had this one character over here because I wanted to defend against them attacking me, and then I rushed him forward to attack this place because I wanted to force the enemy AI out of there and prevent, you know, this prevents one fight, which saves a bit of time because he will rush there to defend that instead of moving back to defend the main citadel. There are also 2 Soulcalibur characters on this map. The one just standing there off to the left is Ivy, and the one to the far right is Cervantes. They all have classes as well, and they're level 60, so they're strong, though it depends on the class. Pirates are what both Ivy and Cervantes are, and they're relatively strong. Thank you.
You should really get...
Obviously you can skip intro and between battle sequences, but you can't skip the very last stat up battle when you defeat the last guy in a group. Besides the classes having different stats, the gear doesn't affect anything but your alignment, unlike Soulcalibur 4, for instance, which drove me nuts since equipment had stats associated with it. In order to do the higher levels of the tower, you had to have high stat characters, so you had to rely on that instead of just putting what you wanted on them, so you had some funky outfits for the best stats. But in this, the outfits only affect your alignment, as it were, which determines your voice. It's one of the neat things. In both Soulcalibur 4 and 5, I believe, you have 6 voices, and you can change the pitch to make it very deep and slow sounding, or to make it higher pitched and very quick. But it's the same overall voice, it says the same things. You know, and they can sound different, those pitches sound way different, but they're still just 6 voices. But in this, there are 4 voices per gender, but they have 4 totally different tones and lines of dialogue that they use as well, which totally changes how the voice sounds, depending on what alignment you have. You have a light and dark and a good and evil or something like that. That's how I generally define them. Ooh, nice, a gold that put me ahead by 1 second. 1 whole second. Very good battles there. This is another interesting battle. Didn't mash that as fast as I could have. Once again, delaying in order to minimize commands. Losing a tiny amount of frames there, but it's minimal. It's actually not bad. It's funny how the art is ordering your characters around. Battle of a little bit of stuff. Okay, good. As you may notice, sometimes my characters will stop and wait for a bit. There are actually squares on this map that the characters will occupy, even though they're moving in a pixel at a time. And so if you're entering a square and somebody else is already entering the next square, you have to stop and wait for them to fully enter the square before they'll start fighting each other.
In final battle, fight.
Primary reason why I have to delay a second or two before issuing the secondary orders.
Was a decent match.
Because if I do it too soon after, they will stop and wait. They'll reach the same square my main character's in, and they'll stop and wait as well. But interestingly, they don't count as, if one person's already occupying the square, they don't count as in until they reach there. I was on Kane and I clicked R1 and went on Kane again. That was again because I actually had Doria selected, but the cursor jumped onto Kane because he was nearby. Little thing here. So we're pressing into Dalkia. This is Luna 2. Luna has her Klesser Pemdo with her this time, who are her 4 bodyguards, one of each element. And I'm going down this particular lane for a particular reason, because each of the 4 Klesser Pemdo have as I say, they have an element associated with them, and they're in a stronghold that kind of supports that element. Loopy here, the Lancer, has the element of fire, so they've given her all guard break, which is pretty much pointless as an ability as far as I'm concerned.
Battle 1.
That's what her... As you can see, her weapon crackles with lightning, so she does all guard break. If I try and block her attacks, I will be stunned slightly. If you're familiar with Soulcalibur, you're familiar with guard breaks. It's a primary attribute of the battle that's existed for a long time. And they consider that fire, and you'll see the reason why. Well, if you're a Soulcalibur character, you might know why, because the step up from all guard break is all unblockable, and that your weapon is surrounded by flames. But it means very little, especially when Loopy is cooperative and allows me to just punch her into the ground like that. But these 2 citadels on the left are the ones I want to avoid. Quake and Ice. Both are annoying. AG is Earth, so she gets Quake, and Healdo is Water, so she gets Ice. The other one here, Whirlwind, is very, very easy too. Now, part of the objective is I do have to defeat all 4 Klesser Pemdo, but once again, most of your enemies are programmed to retreat back to the main citadel when it comes under attack. The person in the middle there is Soulcalibur character Lizardman on Soulcalibur %. I'd have to wander over and fight him. Soulcalibur characters don't move, so you can avoid them in nearly every Chronicle if you don't want to fight them. That's why they're optional characters. Whirlwind is kind of annoying. It pushes me around, but it's not very strong. Elua does not make good use of it with her kunai. She's really lousy, as you can see. Again, I've had bad fights with all these characters, so they've done half my life, and a lot of them have even killed me at times. But most of the time, pretty consistently, I can beat a lot of these guys. And if I say they're easy, I mean, it's 9 times out of 10 they're not going to do anything. Nothing significant. And so now the 2 other Cluster Pendo members are going to fall out in order to fight me. There's Lizard Man, level 60. These 4 charge down their other lanes. When you're playing 100%, it's quite obvious to put your 4 characters in the 4 lanes and go into pincher attack. And I actually did that the first couple of times that I did the speedrun. And then I realized that was really stupid, because I could just go down one lane and force them in like this. So it goes a lot better. Then I avoid the 2 places I don't like in a lot more battles. And I go down the middle one. I would actually really prefer to go down the far right one, but that's way too long and I'd have to push through a whole other citadel, so I might as well go through the middle. It's actually quicker. There are a lot of places where you think, here's Luna 2.
Now, it's time to collect on your debt.
Whatever you say.
Battle 1. Fight.
There are a lot of places where your cold logic says that this certain way would be faster and better, but in truth it's not at all.
Fight.
If I didn't have that derp, I'd be pretty far ahead right now. Another 15 seconds,
Battle
because
3. Fight.
everything is going very smoothly here. Almost messed up there.
Really give up. It looks like I got lucky.
I'm actually really glad I didn't ring her out, because even though it would have done half of her life, it wouldn't quite have killed her. And that's kind of bad for the getting the ring out when it doesn't kill is kind of bad for the dancer, because they can't it ruins my setup. I can no longer have them in the stun lock, and they if they get out of it, they can then begin to tear me apart if I don't immediately get a hit on them. 30-second gold, that's nice. Okay, so we've been kicking the crap out of Dalkia. We've beaten Luna twice, but now all of a sudden the Haltese Republic has declared war on us, and Emperor Strife has ordered us to immediately abandon the front line and of Dalkia and retreat into the Haltese Republic in order to fight them. Retreating to fall back. Abelia is left in charge of our forces there. She joined us during the bridge encounter and was helping us as our sub-commander. Now she's been left in charge of our forces, which some of our guys are a bit put out about, that she's going to get the glory while we're stuck having to take our tired forces over to fight Haltese Republic now. General Gerardo, however, shows up to be our sub-commander this time, which is pretty cool, if you care about the story at all. We, of course, don't use any characters except for the custom ones in this. You can. There are a lot of characters you can use if you like, and casual player and... Okay. Couple of... once I get through, I've got some difficult orders to make in this first part in order to optimize, which involves standing around during the lag, which is kind of tough to... just handle when you're trying to go fast. But once I get through that, this is actually a really amusing map. So we're advancing on Haltese now, and we have to fight them. We won't be fighting Haltese for very long, though, as you'll see.
Get out of my...
Battle 2. Fight.
You should really give up. It was a decent match.
Couple of easy fights there. There are a lot of guys and a lot of groups coming from multiple angles, which makes this map a little bit interesting to deal with. Okay, Doria first, then Kane. Kane can be ordered now. Oh, Kane can be ordered all the way. Ichigo can now be ordered all the way. Naxos can be ordered all the way. Back to Doria. Battle. Oh, and then I need to go back to Naxos. I'm actually forgetting a very important thing. Hopefully I'll have time to address it.
Final battle, fight!
Most of the time, not always. Sometimes they'll mess it up by lying on the ground more. But if they get up as soon as possible, which they usually try to do when you're being aggressive, they'll actually get up just in time to be hit by the second spin of that. And as you've seen, I can do a single spin as well that doesn't go guard break. There we go. I need to fortify this up. When I don't have them in the lock, I sometimes try to mix in single spins, especially if they've moved close to me. Doria, go now. As I say, tough little movements. Now it's going to be pretty easy. So this guy in the middle is Rock, another Soulcalibur character. He's got an interesting helmet on in his secondary outfit. They're all in their secondary outfits. You'll see a couple of them, actually, because I found that going through them is the faster route on one of the scenarios. But, every other unit here seems intent on... has kind of a weird AI. It's taken a bit of manipulation to figure out. But for the most part, they'll be chasing after me. So we've got a little bending thing here and going here as they will now all pile in. So I fortified these citadels because in order to prevent them from getting to me before I get to their main citadel. This kind of delays the attack. It's kind of one of the fun tactics I like about the map movement here is figuring out which places to do this trick at. Oh, now they come streaming after me. Da 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 da.
Decisive battle.
But they're not going to reach me. Here's our first experience with ice since I skipped the one in the last map. Ice is a huge, huge pain. And hopefully everything will go well, but it's a real crapshoot. You slide around on ice, quite obviously. You're going to see how much I slide around. So, since both the shoulder charge and the spin move rely on forward movement, ooh, this is, yeah, dangerous. I'm very likely to lose Doria here.
Battle 2.
But since they rely on forward movement, they're not reliable for... Oh, God. I was going to try to start stun locking here with the horizontal. The horizontal slash I found is usually the best overall for ice because we're both moving around so much that the charges and stuff aren't as good. But she attacked and she came up and finished me off. Oh, blast. Horizontal is a, if you're new to the game and you want something to fairly easily work, these horizontal slashes with a fast weapon are pretty good, but not totally reliable, as you can see. There. So now you've seen my first death, or loss rather. So you're finally gonna see the charge bar. Blast. That's not good. I might end up recharging in that citadel right as it gets attacked, which will be a huge time loss. As I say, for the most part, everything is consistent, but small changes in your actions can affect the enemy's AI, and usually he's farther away, but this time I was a bit too efficient running out, which caused her to recharge me quick. Okay, well, not too bad then. I was afraid that I would respawn in that citadel right as they took it, but I didn't, so I'm just going to be out of this fight. So that was the guy with the wave swords there, as they're called, the mantis-like sickle swords, Halphus, who's now speaking. He's apparently the leader of this, and we defeated him, but he retreated. But now suddenly the text that I just skipped implied that this woman, Mooncalf, just killed him. And we're going to see how that plays out with the storyline, the sudden twist and plot twist in the storyline in the next Chronicle. But now we have to deal with Mooncalf, who has glue. You can see me even now getting pulled towards her. Glue is amusing, as I'm slight misstep. Glue doesn't mean much to me. It's very nice. Glue
It will be a long time before my sword is complete.
yeah, that loss losing me a bit of time. I'm pretty sure both my PB and my gold split, I managed to not die on that ice. It's about a 50-50 proposition. Ice is so difficult to deal with, especially with just the dancer. So I lost all the time game I made from my super awesome gold on the Chronicle 6. Oh well. This was actually the first map where I learned that bandits were good, and I took up speedrunning strategies, even playing normally a long time ago. I didn't optimize this strategy enough. We'll see if it matters. So now we're fighting green suddenly. So the storyline is that the Haltese Republic has suddenly been attacked from within by one of its own lords, the head of Moleta, or Moleta, or some way to pronounce that. And I don't think I think I messed that up. Nope, I made it. Good. Haha. Again, just the situation prevents me from being less optimal than I'd like to be. So now that the Haltese Republic it's pretty much gone. Moleta's taken over, killed everything. They used our attack on them as the guys to start wiping out their leaders and everything. And they've seized this area, and there are a few Haltese soldiers left around, and we've decided, as the humane person we are, to try and save them. So the objective in this map is to defeat the main citadel and to save at least 3 Haltese soldiers. If 3 of the 5 die, I lose. So of course, when I was first playing, I was a completionist trying to do 100%, you know, not really speedrunning. I didn't know what speedrunning was at the time when I was playing the game. And so my entire objective was to I was trying very hard to save all 5 of them, and it was really, really tough. And finally, I just left my characters as infantry for a while. I figured they were overall the best. And infantry moved so slow and attack citadels so slow that I just couldn't do it. And finally I decided to take the risk of making them bandits, because I'd read in my guys that I'd read about it that bandits have lower stats in combat and everything, and so I was afraid to go using them for combat, but I needed that additional speed and started using it here and never looked back, because while they get totally destroyed in the field, if I was to sit and let them fight as the Haltese and Moleta soldiers are doing here, I would just get absolutely wrecked. But and they do actually, it does affect your stats in battle as well, but not nearly as much. So I found that even in casual playthrough, just the speed with all the time you spend in the overmap and attacking citadels, the lesser time it takes to do everything with bandits is very much worth the occasional slightly lower stats in combat, which don't affect very much. I probably don't have to worry about fortifying anything else, I'm not going to. This is a map that's very different on Soulcalibur percent as well, because Setsuka has the Soulcalibur character up there in that far northern fortress. And so, I like this strategy. It's a very tight strategy. I have to run in and grab Larage here and then run away. So my objective, of course, is to grab the 3 quickest characters. And the one who's sitting like right there is super easy to get to. Larage is right there. And then the nameless soldier that I picked up here. 3 of the soldiers are generic, and 2 of them are 2 are generic, 3 are actually named. The named soldiers, I'm going to fortify just in case.
Decisive battle.
As I say, it's been a while since I've done 80%, so I don't quite remember some of the places that are, if I need to fortify or not. I generally do it a bunch because just as safety. Takes a few seconds to fortify, but I lose a lot more time if I have to fight unnecessary battles. Gotcha now. You're mine. Oh crap. She didn't get up, that's actually bad. There we go. That took a lot longer than it should have. Wasn't really bad, but sometimes, that's their AI, they're just a little bit better. That move seems unblockable, but as you saw, it can be blocked. It's a guard break attack, but it's just the computer 99% of the time just can't get the frame right for it for whatever reason. It's just very strange programming. That seems to appear after a certain number of battles, so it's totally different on any percent and Soulcalibur percent, so it really throws me off when it shows up. It seems kind of random. Usually people have conversations like after you beat them or whatever, but that one appearing from 2 totally uninvolved characters who might not even be on the map, which they aren't because they're members of my force, suddenly talking is very, very strange. So,
Decisive battle.
here's Heil 1. Heil's one of the primary commanders of the Moleta Guard. So we'll fight him 3 Chronicles in a row.
Battle 1. Fight.
Anyway, the name characters in this, and Heil can sometimes be very, very... He has all guard break on, of course. Jeez.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Until he started doing that, that was actually looking to be a good split. Now it's might be... So much dialogue to skip. It's okay. finally get to use my 5th character. There will be 3 scenarios where I don't get to use L5 again later on for no reason that I can really understand. Well, except on one of them. Maybe 2. This map is another one where you have to defeat all enemies, so in order to defeat all enemies I have some careful map movement to manipulate them, just like in Chronicle 3. I don't go as fast as I can to destroy the main citadel, so it'd be counterintuitive in the grand scheme of things. Oh.
My blade.
That should have been an easy ring out, but somehow ended up not being. So I move here to eventually manipulate one of them into coming into this map so I can fight him. I'm going to fight quite a few of them in this citadel because I'm attacking it. So as we advance into Moleta, they've signed a pact with Dalkia, so the Dalkia characters are here, including Luna. Luna 3 is here with Cluster Pemdo 2. This is the only time you won't fight the Cluster Pemdo in fortresses. They'll come streaming out to attack me here in a minute. I kind of played this randomly. I haven't really optimized in this one which character is best to use for battle and which ones are best to advance with, so it's kind of random which one I end up on, just because of my positioning and doing other things during the downtime. I don't have a lot of different stuff I do during the
Fate conspired
downtime.
to arrange their battle. Battle 1, fight!
There's a lot of time while you're waiting for battles to finish and characters to move around, and I don't really have a I have a lot of downtime I don't do much with because it instantly goes to wherever it is, so
Battle 2,
kind of with my short attention span I could be looking at anything and everything. Awesome, that went a lot better. So as I was saying, some weapons have properties. The generic weapons that your characters start with on every style, like those generic wave swords, they don't have stats at all. No, hers are actually, actually have stats. Although they look similar, they're not the base wave swords. All these guys have a couple of different weapons they use. So they don't really have stats, and armor doesn't give stats, it just gives thing. I went off on that tangent a while ago and forgot about it.
Battle 4, fight!
But while armor only affects alignment, weapons have attributes. They don't have stats, but they have different attributes. They might increase your attack, they might increase your defense. They can give you life back over time, or they can be vampiric. You may have noticed that I get a lot of life back when I deal damage with this katana, because Sumirasame is the best of them. Your generic ones don't have any properties. They're your base weapons. There are about 3 or 4 weapons per style that you get afterwards, most of which you can buy, that have a couple of attributes on them.
It looks like I'm just too strong for you.
They have like 2 attributes. There are several weapons that are used by unique enemies in this particular, in the Chronicles of the Sword, that have 3 properties. Usually 2 are good and 1 is bad. And then your ultimate weapons all have 4 properties. Sometimes one of them is bad, but usually all 4 are good. In the case of the Soul of Xianghua, I have Soulcalibur, of course, as her best weapon. It increases her attack, it does increases her life over time. And does a couple of other things I don't really remember because I haven't looked at it in a while. Again, I'm delaying here so that
Decisive battle.
in order just to manipulate AI. And for some reason, I must have done something slightly different because the enemy did something slightly different. Must have been who I gave the orders to. Nice ring out. That actually worked out. Usually it's faster to just kill low-level guys, but again, I sometimes forget which one I'm
Battle
doing.
2. Fight.
You see me use Xiangla's taunt at the end of battle a lot just because I can. It's something to do, and I think the lines are amusing usually. Unfortunately, your generic weapons do not have taunts associated with them. And once again, I shouldn't have done the jumping leap at all. So much damage. Sometimes they do get up quicker after being kicked away instead of rather than being juggled in the air. So
Battle 4. Fight.
he is worth kicking away though because he has a decent amount of hit points. And I still knocked him out before I got the ring out. He's a monk. Monks have low stats, especially on defense. They have a lot of hit points, but such a low defense that it's counterintuitive. Doesn't matter almost. He was a knight. He had a lot more hit points than the higher level guy. Yeah, your classes can really affect stats quite a bit. So weapons have properties. Mirasame is the best katana. It actually will drain my life over time. It slowly lowers. You may have noticed that as well, although you might not have. It's pretty subtle. And it's not exactly what you're staring at in the middle of a battle. But it also gives me back a lot of life when I do damage, so especially with my aggressive playstyle, the life loss is very minimal. It does mean that it's hard to get perfects because it actually does not restore life on the same frame that you... It doesn't restore life on the... It takes about like 1 life a frame, I believe. Oh, another guy coming. I should have waited. Oh well, at least slight time loss, but nothing big.
Final battle. Fight.
But when you... With the finishing blow, it doesn't restore life, and it drains life about every frame. So you have to basically do 2 hits almost on the same frame. I don't know if it's every frame. I haven't used the thing to calculate it, but it's a very constant thing. And there are times when I've gotten a perfect with Mirasame Katana despite the life drain, but it's not very often. And I believe that it's because well, this might actually still not be too bad. As it's basically a frame perfect thing to do a hit before the next life drain after you drain yourself back to full. Yeah, it has to be 2 hits right after each other. Shoulder charge might do it because it hits on nearly neighboring frames. Only a couple away. It's probably not every frame you lose a hit point, but you know, something like that.
Did you really expect to get the better of my blade?
So Mirasame is a very powerful weapon. It's one of the things that makes katana so strong is the life drain aspect, restoring your health so much, as well as it also does more damage, and it does more damage over time. So the longer the fight goes on, the more your attack goes up and the more damage you do. So it's a very, very powerful sword, and combined with the shoulder charge makes the katana the unstoppable weapon it is, and of course the Swordmaster stats. Samurai is the second best class in the game. They have even higher attack than the Swordmaster does. Their other stats are not bad, just not super great. So Samurai is also very, very strong, and you can, since both can use the katana, it is one of the best overall styles in the game for battling the computer opponent in this mode.
The battle 1. Fight.
You do get one character in your army if you're playing first... Oh, I'm trying to block now, and that's useless because... Thank you. All unblockable usually doesn't bother me because as I say, I'm aggressive, but as I get up, they like to attack you when you get up, so I try to defend there, but you can't when it's all unblockable.
Fight.
For some reason, this is the easiest Heil fight. I think they recognize that if they make him as aggressive as he normally can be, he's really unstoppable, so they actually program his AI. It's kind of weird how the AI works in this game.
What'll happen next time?
If everything, there's a pretty wide variance in this because of all the fights I have to do based on if I do everything optimally or not. And I think I just discovered optimally here because of how the orders went. So I think what happened is usually I order my second character to go down that other path into the small place and to fight that first guy who comes out. And I think him going there quicker is what manipulates the enemy to come out more, but since I went with the last character this time, he didn't, another AI triggered first. It's real, as I say, there's no randomness in here. If you do it the exact same every time, it'll, same stuff will happen every time, but sometimes small little changes, like ordering them in a slightly different order, will change out, where things go. I can go all the way. Like the last time on my last Soulcalibur % run of this particular map, there's a character who always retreats back into this main citadel in order to help defend it, but this time they, for whatever reason, didn't. Because of one particular character who must have been ahead of the pack or something at the point where it triggered her AI, so she instead, it's her over here, Anaretta, she came running around instead and came to join this fight rather than defending the citadel, so that made it go a little bit quicker. It's kind of weird. This one is one that I much prefer to do at any % rather than Soulcalibur %. Usually it's fun to fight the Soulcalibur characters. I think it's a little bit more interesting, a new little challenge, and I really like Soulcalibur % just because that slightly added difficulty bonus and the extra XP and everything is nice. Then this one, Sung Mina is here and she's on ice, and she is the hardest ice character in the game. Her AI is programmed to do really well on ice. She uses attacks that will push you away, and same thing here. Oh, no, only slightly different. I'm not sure what I did differently here, but Anaretta didn't run back to defend, but Oryx did. Usually Oryx is the guy who charges forward to attack. That, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. I prefer to fight Anaretta to Oryx, but Oryx has lower hit points, so it's easier to fight, so it depends on what his AI does. Oryx uses the Chinese sword, which the computer tends to make one of the more aggressive and dangerous styles. It attacks pretty quickly with a pretty good range, just has a good variety of attacks. And the computer just seems to have a punishing AI with it.
Like you dares to take on this country, this king.
Battle 1. Fight.
This is a really nasty citadel because it has offense down, is the mission, which lowers your offense, the damage you do. So as you can see, I'm doing chip damage to Demuth, even with my most powerful attack. And Demuth has super lousy stats. He is a crap boss. He's the king. He gets his cutscene here.
Battle 2.
So it turns out that even though he's the king of Moleta, somebody seems to be manipulating him, and he looks kind of familiar, and we'll see him in a cutscene here coming up ahead, and then everything will begin to make sense. If you've sort of been paying attention to what I've said about the game, since I haven't let you see any of the dialogue that's going on.
Battle 3. Fight.
Guy got you. When I first started using Dancer strats, when I first started speedrunning, I stuck with all Sword Masters because I thought that Dancer might be a little bit too weak to try and rely on. And my fears seemed concerned when I decided to go ahead and try it and did my first run with the Dancer lead. Until I got to this fight. Heil was very good against the Sword Master and the Katana, but the Dancer absolutely destroys him, and just this fight went so much faster with the Dancer it sold me as a Dancer fanboy. Well, I already was. I knew the Dancer was the strongest overall, the hardest for the computer to dodge, but the stat difference between Dancer and Swordmaster is so extreme that when things go wrong, as they invariably will, the Dancer would get really punished, and while the Swordmaster is more recovery. But in this particular fight, makes the Dancer worth it all on its own, just about. This is one of the citadels, too, that cannot be reduced below level 3. So, now I get to defend the place myself. Actually, I can save time, I think, by just having Doria go in. I shouldn't order all my guys. So now there's going to be a big wave advancing on me. 5 is the intended number of units in this game. So 5 is the maximum amount they can clump as. It's the maximum amount that will fit inside of a citadel. And it's the maximum amount that will group up and attack together in a particular lane. You can actually fight more than 5 characters at once if they're coming from multiple sides. But if they're coming from the same side, those other 3 in back, if I was to wait before starting the fight and they reached the battle, they would actually just stand there at the back of the line and not join in the fight until after I defeated at least one of these guys so they could join. And then only as many would. So I wait until there's 5 and then go. Computer's katana is dangerous as well, the CPU katana opponent, but luckily he was being kind to me as well. Darn, went too far. I try to move around. If I am at an ideal distance, the enemy won't attack me and I'll just be in range to reach them with my spin. But it's really hard to find that range, because it kind of depends on how they move as well. Because there's no randomness in the orders that they give, provided that you do everything the same in the map. But AIs are very random in what they decide to do, and you can sort of manipulate them with moves like this. But they can still change up how they move and act and everything in the battle, so there's no super consistent way to totally guarantee safety. Yes, they might do things like that. I almost never see either of those moves. One was bad, one was good. Because you're crouching when you do the spin, of course, you can't be hit by high attacks. Several have gone over my head, you may have noticed.
Battle 5, fight.
Thank you for flourishing. Usually when you're at a level 3 citadel, the stats don't affect you, but for some reason this one seems to lower the damage I do, even when I'm defending it, which is annoying, but I also take less damage, just significantly less when I'm defending it, so that's the nice thing. I wish there were more options in this game, like the ability to turn off death animations. That would make this speedrun go so much quicker. Now I wait for the other 3 to arrive. Slowly, oh so slowly. They're knights, so... Okay. This was probably one of the hardest ones in the game casually, because Heil is so mean. Heil's AI is really bad normally, and of course trying to defeat Sungmina, if you're trying to defeat Sungmina casually, this would be one of the first Soulcalibur characters you might skip if you aren't a super completionist, because she's just hard on ice. She's stupidly hard. With her propensity for making swings that knock you way back and cause you to slide across the ice. But this one's going very perfectly. So I was saying.
I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Again, command fail. Notice I didn't do anything. There are certain enemies in the game who, when you meet them, they will automatically start a Soulcalibur battle with you. They won't allow you to fight them on the field. And Cervantes is one of those. He's the first non-Soulcalibur character you'll encounter who's like that. All the Soulcalibur characters do that if they're out on the field, like Ivy and Rock and Lizard Man. So you can't, you know, try and choose them out by defeating them on the field with all of your guys.
You should really give up. It was a decent match.
But there are just a couple enemies in the game that I know that will also do that. Well, of course, naturally, the boss Emperor Strife at the end. But a couple others. Cervantes is the first one who's not a Soulcalibur character, as I say. So he's apparently the primary bodyguard for the true leader of Moleta, who has been manipulating all this. Who we're about to meet for the second time. And Honoretta is now insignificant. All we have to do is tear down the last couple citadels and then defeat the final boss of Moleta. Honoretta's just staying in that citadel, that's fine. What their orders are is sometimes really weird, because they don't seem to have anything. Some of them just don't have... although what they do is normally consistent if you do the exact same things, and I was slightly off this time, I guess. There's a couple of very subtle things here, and that really changes what they do. One of the very first times I speedrun, even though I do the same strategy for the most part, most of the time Oryx will go running past me once I'm attacking the third citadel there, and he will start to try and take my main citadel, and Honoretta will fall back. That's what's happened like 9 times out of 10.
Surprised.
But then something small has done
just as
something
you
else.
see. I must
I'll let
protect
Chester
this
talk here.
country. I had this brilliant plan of pitting Grandall and Dalkia against one another, and then rise to power during the resulting chaos. But because of your unexpected meddling, my plan is in ruins. You will pay dearly for this.
Battle 1. Fight.
So yeah, Chester, the different outfit, but this is the same guy we fought in Chronicle 3. And he apparently was manipulating the whole thing, dressed some of his bandits up as Grandall soldiers, attacked Dalkia to make Dalkia declare war on us, and then manipulated the King of Moleta into declaring independence on the Haltese Republic, and then his plan was to kill and overthrow Delmuth himself and seize power in this new kingdom after everybody decimated each other. But we've put a stop to his plans by completely decimating Moleta and then defeating him, of course. A very, very, very good gold split. So now that we've dealt with Moleta, we have to turn our attention back to Dalkia, which, since we saw Luna's forces advance on us and join Moleta, we know that Abilia has been an utter failure in dealing with the problem here. So we have to go clean up her mess by dealing with Luna and her Cluster Pemdo for the last time. And boy, is this a painful one. Boy, is this a painful one. So the 4 Cluster Pemdo, now we see their element in full force. They are in unique mission strongholds here. Cruel Sword is Loopy, the first one. She is of fire. And so all of these are combinations of 2 different things, many of which we haven't seen yet. Cruel Sword is all unblockable, which speaks for itself.
Decisive
We've seen it
battle.
before. And Blast, which we haven't seen. Blast causes you to be knocked back extremely when you're hit by a knockback attack. And Lances have a decent amount of them, so if she goes aggressive and hits me, I'll go flying across the screen. Kind of amusing. But mostly pointless, especially if I'm
Battle
aggressive
1.
enough myself to beat her. And good, we got Golden Loopy. Golden Loopy! Even a quick ring out.
It looks like I got lucky.
This is another really high variance one because some of these fights are really bad. Because next is Healdo of water, so she gets ice again and there's no avoiding it this time. Sacred Field is what hers is called. It is ice combined with Cure, both of which we've seen before, so nothing special except, you know, it's ice. Slight misstep there. So we have to hope that, for some reason, even though I found that I'm able to deal with most of the battles pretty well by spamming my A attack, Healdo tends to do better against that for some reason. And even though I go sliding all over the place, I found that using my usual tactics tends to work better. We'll see if it does this time, because things can still go horribly wrong. For the most part, she's not that hard of a ice opponent, but ice.
Now, battle 1. Fight.
Nice. That was good.
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
It's very, very easy to slide off the edge, which is one of the reasons why I don't like spin moves, both the Xianghua spin and shoulder charge there. Because you can if she sidesteps, which she's good at, you can very easily go running past her in prime position to be knocked out of the ring. Although if things go really well, she'll knock herself out of the ring. Next is Elua, who is of wind, so she has Whirlwind, which we've seen a little bit before, but I killed her too fast for it to, and it was weak. This one's a much stronger. Combined with Aerial Wind. That's what Holy Wings is those two combined. Aerial Wind causes you, when you get knocked into the air, to go flying way up into the air, float like a feather for a second before coming down. You don't take any extra damage coming down or anything like that, but it's very annoying because it's timeless because you're up in the air. Luckily, it's useless. It's pointless because Elua uses the kunai weapon, which has almost no abilities that knock into the air. Very, very, very few, and Elua almost never uses them. I have seen it on this fight, like, twice in the hundreds of hours I've played this game. Perhaps thousands of hours I've played this game. Of course, she's being a lot nastier than usual. She's usually not that aggressive. Luckily, the Whirlwind didn't bother us at all either.
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
That would have been a perfect fight if she hadn't gone super aggressive at the beginning. Now's the hard part, though, because AG actually has here what is literally the very worst mission in the game. It's called Impregnable, and it's a combination of two we actually haven't seen yet. Quake, which we haven't seen only because I've avoided it, and Guardian Force, which we will see, which we haven't seen yet, and we'll see a couple more times and it is very, very bad. Guardian Force on its own is the worst in the game, and having Quake on top of it is just bad. Every 3 seconds, when you have Quake, the screen shakes. Oh crap! This is not good, actually. This is very not good. I was distracting myself again too much. Usually I've gotten used to acting while doing that, but this is very, very, very bad. So you're going to see just how bad Impregnable is. Combined with Quake. Every 3 seconds the screen is going to shake, and if you're standing, you'll be stunned. Or if you're crouching and you're not blocking, you'll be stunned.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
And so you can see Guardian Force at work here. I'm going to do a time loss since I'm going to die here. There's just no avoiding it. Normally I order her away so she won't die. And now I'm not guaranteed to get my wave sword either. This is very bad. I needed to order her away,
Battle 2.
but I forgot to do that. I was going to say, she's taking damage, but she's not affected by anything. That's what makes Impregnable so bad. Luckily, her stats are horrible, and also she's wielding a weapon that actually damages her. Oh god, losing 2 is very bad. This was going so well, and I just ruined it by not having... Normally, I order her to retreat so she won't fight, and then Kane, who's the next in line, would be the person who would fight instead. I gave him wave swords for this specific reason, because this is the only thing that affects them. She killed herself because her weapon damages her. That's one of the nice things about this fight. But this is going to be a pretty big time loss. I'm going to lose all 2 minutes, probably, of what I had to do. Because now I'm going to have to fortify this, and I'm only going to be attacking with 3 people, and then I'm going to have to... If I only lose 1, then I cannot fortify, and the other 4 will actually destroy the main citadel before my guys recharge. But with 3 people, I'm not going to make it, so I'm going to have to buff it up. Trying to do too many things at once. Cane, equip, katana again. So that was so bad. And it was going so well. Just because of it. And that's the kind of mistake you can make to mess things up. That'll lose me probably a minute and a half at least because of the 2 deaths. Or losses, rather. Nobody dies. Very few people die, except storyline-wise. Oh, I'm actually still... They're not going to make it in time. Just barely.
Decisive battle.
Maybe I could have saved time by not even sending them then. Probably. I'm not used to losing 2 people, so I don't know the optimal strats for it. I know that 1 never makes it, but... I thought that 2 would. Because I only have 3 people damaging the Citadel, but they actually went really fast.
So you've come.
You'll hear that line a bunch.
This time,
This is
it
the
will
first
not be
time.
like our previous encounters. See if you can defeat this sword.
Oh yeah, this is the Soulcalibur game, and yes, it actually does have Soulcalibur and Soul Edge in it. This is the first time you'll see them. Luna 4, Final Luna, she has a new outfit as well, and she's not that hard. She doesn't have anything special. She has reserve offense up, which causes her to do more damage as she gets weaker, which can be bad if you ever let up and let her start attacking you after she, once you get her low, she'll do a huge amount of damage, but otherwise it's not a big deal. Again, most of the aggressive ones are not as bad as just ones that are defensive or affect the field, because usually if my tactics are working right, I'm so aggressive that not as much time loss as I thought I'd have. The other fights were that good. That's nice, at least. Okay, now this weird one. So difficult to plan out properly. I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to have everybody else go here. When I did one of my mistakes I made in my last Soulcalibur percent run, which still was a 10-minute PB, was right here. Things did not go optimally. I don't know if I ordered him to go the full distance. I did not. You can zoom in and out. Most of this pretty much has no effect on the game at all. So now this is the final battle with Dalkia as we fight the last of their remaining soldiers.
Decisive battle.
And this one, once again, has so many different options to go from, and the AI reacts in so many different weird ways.
What? Battle 1. Fight.
Because if I had like some sort of task on this game, I could figure out even more optimal strategies just on what would manipulate the AI the best. But there's so many different things you can do that a task would be perfect for this, because you'd know exactly how you could manipulate them the best. That was a slight time loss, but
This time, I am the victor.
once they're considered out of bounds, they are automatically afflicted by ring out, and you can't actually do damage to them, as you saw there. Because I had already knocked him over, and so I hit him again, and that delayed his falling out, so that was a very small time loss. But doesn't really matter in the end too much, but it's just kind of interesting. When you get somebody near ring out, as you see, it's a risk-reward situation if you... lots of lag on this map. Ah, the other person ran away. Okay, that's fine. All I need to do on this map is take the main citadel, so I don't have to fight all these guys, but there's so many of them and they're charging in aggressively that I usually have to fight most of them.
In final battle. Fight.
Did I do it? You can't get me! Did I do it? Did I do it?
It's annoying how a slight sidestep will sometimes cause you to miss too. He's got a vampiric weapon too, so he's tough to deal with. There we go. Gotcha.
It looks like I'm just too
He's
slow
sometimes
for
tough
you.
to deal with. I can see this one has a wide amount of variance based on the little small things. Again, with the tasks, you could frame perfectly know, perhaps, or at least get a little bit better sense to the best routes to go to manipulate the AI in the best way, but sometimes it's nearly random just because of how subtly the different your different movements will manipulate their movements. This is the strategy I've found I like the best. Should minimize the loss of time. This is a much longer one on Soulcalibur because I have two and they're on the opposite corners there. Cassandra and Raphael. The guy who has to go after Raphael is pretty much will never get anywhere close to the rest of the combat, to the rest of the map, so... And looks like I'm going to have to fight 2 battles here to defend this citadel, and hopefully I won't lose. Because if they defeat me, I will...
Decisive battle.
Of course, they'll have taken my main citadel and I will lose, and then I'll have to start this campaign over, which is going to be a 5-minute time loss and pretty much is going to bury any hope I have of a PB.
Battle 1.
But I shouldn't lose. That was offering himself up on a silver platter because that bomb throw is a high attack. So it'll go right over my head as I spin. At which point he's mine.
Battle 2.
He's a thief, so his stats are super low. I didn't check that this guy must be a gladiator. He has more hit points than defense. Gladiators have good hit points and decent defense, so they don't take nearly as much damage.
Battle
Sage.
3. Fight.
Sages have really good defense and hit points, so... Going very smoothly.
Battle 4. Fight.
You should really give up.
Final battle. Fight.
Oh, thank you. Once again, high attack delivers them on a silver platter.
You should really give up. I'm sorry, but I must move on.
Now I have to wait for the 2 slowpokes.
The battle 1. Fight.
Let's
Final battle. Fight.
Love some of the characters and many of the... goodness. She's being a lot tougher than she should be. Some of the custom characters look really nice. I actually like
move on.
the unique characters that they made for your various enemies here in Chronicles of the Sword. It's one of the neat things about this mode is that there's so many different people that you fight. So even if the fights are pretty generic fighting game battles, with my constant stunlock strategies, they're kept kind of fresh just by the different outfits and everything that you'll see. Now time to see if this particular method saved any time whatsoever. The battles were pretty good, so I have a chance at it. That's the hardest thing to judge, especially for some of these longer chronicles, if alternate strategies I have come up with, because I'm still testing out and manipulating with this thing. The big thing about it is that because the battles can take so much more or less time, depending just on how things go, it's really hard to know and remember if a particular battle is faster or longer.
Final battle. Fight.
If a particular scenario is strategy is better or not.
You can't get away.
Knockout.
You can't get away.
I was really trying to ring her out. The fact that I didn't waste a little bit of time.
Next time.
Normally I can. Because there's a possibility that in one scenario where my strategy is super brilliant, my play, if it's bad, I have a couple of bad fights that could completely kill my chances of doing anything. And okay. Unfortunately, I ordered a little bit too soon there, but oh well, it doesn't make a big difference. Thank you for the host, Party Wolf. Never been hosted before.
Battle 1. Fight.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, it isn't quite down enough for an instant death, but that's a lot of hit point damage still. Come on.
Battle 2. Fight.
Just 3 though, that isn't too bad. Wow, we could actually beat him.
fight.
That's the difference levels can make.
You picked the wrong person.
Only level 5. This guy's hardly fought at all, so. 2 high-level knights. He does chip damage too. I probably ought to put a lot more thought and care into who I choose for a battle like that, although I didn't actually choose this time. He did. Figured it was King. Okay. And I'll definitely make up time. I don't know if I'll get anywhere close to gold, though. Yeah, 1 minute left. She's a really easy boss, but with the cutscene, low chance of a gold, but it still should be a pretty good split.
Decisive battle.
So you've come.
Worthless servant of strife, you shall pay with your blood. For daring to defy me!
Battle 1. Fight.
Like Delmuth, Aurelia is a absolutely pointless boss.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time?
Yeah, it won't be quite as good a gold as I thought it would be. Or not a gold, but the split isn't as good as I thought it would be. I'd be a little bit closer to golden, but... With that, Dalkia's done. We've defeated all the enemies around. Haltis is gone, Moleta's gone, Dalkia's gone. All that's left is Grandall. Game over, right? That. Is your first time watching it? Yep. Shanghua's spin to win is pretty absurd. No, let's see. Pretty basic setup here. So a year has passed, and now Great General Gerardo has declared, opened up in rebellion against Emperor Strife. Our beloved General Gerardo, what are we going to do? Well, of course, because we're lawful stupid, we're going to follow orders and go fight his rebels. Abilia's with us. Otherwise, interestingly, at this point, they take away most of the companions you had, give you Abilia, and then 3 new companions, and that's all you have to go with in these fights. Spoony Bard, number 1. This, dancers, man. There are 2 male dancers with tambourines in this battle that are particularly goofy looking, so I call them the Spoony Bards.
Battle 2. Fight.
She's very annoying because she's a knight. She has high defense. Her holy antler there restores her life over time, and the cure effect of the dungeon gives her life back over time too. So it takes a lot to kill her, a lot more than it should for an insignificant character. yes, civilian.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Spoonie Bard number 2.
You should really give up. I'm sorry, but I must move on.
Yeah. From a purely aesthetic perspective, the AI in Soulcalibur 4 and 5 is much better than the AI here. The AI is pretty easy to manipulate with certain moves. There are just certain moves that this is the best and easiest one for defeating CPU opponents quickly, but there are a few moves in the game from other techniques as well that the computer just doesn't know how to block for some reason. They just have very little ability to block them properly. There we go.
You should really give up.
Yep.
Battle 3.
The one drawback to Spin to Win, of course, is that I have to use a dancer. They're the only ones who can use the Soul of Xianghua, and their stats are horrible. Stats don't matter as much in this game as they would in, real RPGs, but I still do a lot less damage than a better class would do.
Final battle. Fight.
Come on.
You should really give up. I'm sorry, but I must move on.
Come on. I don't think he went all the way. Gonna have to reorder him. Yeah, Namco Bandai, or Namco at the time. It's the makers of Soulcalibur who also made Tekken, so I actually don't play the Tekken series as much, so I'm not as familiar with all of their moves and such, but I've seen some of it, yeah, and that's definitely on the very similar engine. Yeah, Grieve Edge is a really fun style. From a purely scientific perspective, Grieve Edges are pretty stupid, trying to wield a blade. Yeah, I'm losing time because I didn't have him attacking again. Grieve Edge is a pretty stupid thing, but it's a really cool style regardless. I think it's great to have blades on your feet like that. Yeah, Grieve Edge is the weapon. The default character who uses it is Valeria. She's one of the shopkeepers if you just look at if you're playing the regular arcade games, but most of the time you'll use Grieve Edge when you create a character who can use it. A high-level dancer can use Grieve Edge. Monks can use Grieve Edge, who's high-level. I believe gladiators can use Grieve Edge, if I remember right, and the Swordmaster, of course, can use Grieve Edge.
In battle 1, fight.
I'm really sad they didn't bring it or anything similar back in Soulcalibur's 4+. Soulcalibur 4 had a total lack of any unarmed type styles. This boss has Separate mission, which as you can see pushes me away really far, which is really rough when you're fighting a Lancer, but that fight went actually very great.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
It's a lot harder to keep that stun lock going when they keep pushing you out of range of it. I guess Maxi was probably the closest unarmed in SC4, yeah. Or to use the style properly, I had to throw a bunch of kicks in. This is the first map with a special objective of if I lose my main character, I lose the map. Luckily, these characters are all... These are like the worst stat characters in the entire game. So, this is a really, really easy scenario. Story-wise, the rebels appear to have snuck up on us and surrounded us at night, but there's something fishy about these rebels.
Decisive battle. In battle 1, fight. 3.
Thank goodness. 2-hit perfect prevents. Yeah, these characters have super lousy stats. That's good because Quake is a major pain to deal with.
Fate conspired to final battle fight.
Now you get to see non-spin-to-win moves. But just as broken. Or pretty close.
This fight was decided by fate.
This is a really hard one to find optimal strategies for because they're too spread out. It'll take me a while to wait if I want to try to get them all in a single group to minimize the loading, but if I don't wait like I'm not doing, then I have to load up multiple battles, so... Come on. Funky Staff is one of the weirdest weapons in the game. There we go.
You can't get away. Did I do it? You can't get
Battle 2. Fight.
Did I do it? Be careful from now on.
Forgot who my cursor was on. Okay. I'm just gonna leave them alone. They might not be able to do it. If so, maybe I can just keep make it even shorter by advancing with him. I'll try to remember that for later. So many subtle little things in the movement of AI and time that you have that I'm still routing optimal movement patterns and such. But yeah, I might very well be able to just send all 4 characters up and take their main citadel before they can take mine. I'll be trying that next time, I think.
Battle 1. Fight. Knockout. Battle 2. Fight. Knockout.
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
It really saddened me that a lot of people had things to say about the custom styles, the 17 non-Soulcalibur styles you get in this game, but I really enjoyed all of them. I thought it was very more interesting to have that many more styles to use rather than having every single custom character have to be a copy of one of the main Soulcalibur characters. Once again, movement trying to maneuver around these paths is sometimes really, really hard. Oh, I didn't raise it. I should be fine. I think I forgot to change my Twitch stream too. I've been on Soulcalibur Synth the last few weeks, but this is an any % run instead. I'm not fighting the Soulcalibur characters. Not all of them anyway. There's one map where it's faster to go through the Soulcalibur characters, but in this one we'd have Mitsurugi down here and Taki off to the side here. They're interesting because they're the only Soulcalibur characters who interact with the world other than just spouting a few lines. They will have conversations with your allies and with the enemies. Small ones, but more than you usually get. Makes it a bit interesting. This looks like it's going to be a really good gold, yeah. And it would have been even faster if I'd had another person helping to take down the citadels. I'll have to remember that for next time. I can totally abandon my main citadel and just advance like this.
Battle 1. Fight.
Again, it's hard to know all that ahead of time because of how enemies' AI is really reliable on their map movement if you do the same things, but if you make slight movement changes, that can totally change their AI script and where they decide to go. And I have a totally different route on Soulcalibur % that I use to beat the Soulcalibur characters, so I am not as familiar, especially recently, with the movement that these guys make. No, I have done a lot with Soulcalibur percent recently. Got a really good PB last week, so I'm trying to get a new any percent PB, since especially since I'm recording these for my submissions for RPG Limit Break, and I want a good new PB any percent submission. This is actually where I want to go 3. And yeah, 1.5. I'm really proud of my Soulcalibur percent run, though. I'm not sure I'll have defenders or not. I got it down so it's only 38-ish, about 38 minutes. Yeah, slower, 36 minutes slower than my any percent. So it only takes me 38 minutes to defeat the 23 Soulcalibur characters and additional people I have to fight just because of the extra routes I'm taking. Oops. Slight. Come on. I should have left that up. Oh well.
Battle 1. Fight! Knockout. Battle 2.
Feofan is one of the 2 characters who will join you after this scenario. It's whichever one you defeat first that is chosen. So Feofan's going to join my party next time. Not that it matters since I'm not going to use him at all.
Battle 3. Fight! Ring out. Fight! Knockout. Battle 4. Fight!
My 5th character is getting a lot of much needed experience here.
Fight! Final battle. Fight!
There we go.
Ring out.
You're way too weak.
I really wish that you could turn off these death animations. That would save quite a bit of time on this run. Don't know if he's going to make it all the way, but... Oh, wow. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Come on, come on. I'll get some access then. Setting up for one of my big fights coming up here. Yeah, they're just infantry, so even with this low... Yep, I should be fine. I've often had trouble with this scenario, losing a lot of time to losing it because I tried too aggressively to take the enemy's fort, but I should be fine. The big problem is that most of the time your fort and their fort are equal, but this time their fort's actually a lot stronger than mine. So even with my superior bandits who go through it so much faster. Oh. It's a lot harder to take down. Yeah. My character's in the wrong position. Oh crap, I had one who's not facking, that would help. Okay, should have it.
Decisive battle.
Alright, for the third time, the character is going to begin the battle with the same line. Ah, yes, I lucked out.
So you've come.
Battle 1.
So you've come. So, again, Guardian Force. Gerardo doesn't react when he gets hit by anything, with one exception. Crap. Not working out real right now. Come on. There we go. He will react if he gets hit by an attack throw. I don't care if I lose, just as long as I can do enough damage to... This is not going too well, but... There we go. Okay, well, he did about half his life. That'll do. Since I have no idea which characters are actually going to fight him, it isn't worth it to change more than one person into Wave Sword, but one Wave Sword will at least damage him a decent amount. Then I just have to chip him down while having the crap kicked out of me. Two down. If I'd managed to do it, that would save me a little bit of time, but oh well. He'll be easy to defeat at this point.
Battle 3. Fight.
You're open. You're open. This is the end. You're open.
Thanks for killing yourself. Since his weapon damages himself every time he swings, when he does those whirls, he really takes his own life down.
You are strong, but you do not yet know where.
Longest cutscene in the game.
Right now, your strength is controlled by others. Think for a moment. For whom do you wield your power? For what purpose?
And against whom? You must learn to control that strength yourself. Otherwise, you will never become a true warrior.
Stabbity, stab, stab. Emperor Strife has Soul Edge. Why? We don't know. Where did it come from? We don't know. This world doesn't explain any of that, but it has Soulcalibur and Soul Edge. I know, except for Abilia, who's very lawful stupid. All the rest of us are rather put out with the fact that we just killed Gerardo. You know, even though that's what we were supposed to do. So we're going to take up his rebellion instead. Because reasons. Very nice gold split there. Gonna go ahead and equip Katana back on Maxis here. Luckily I don't have any... Oh no, there's one more Guardian Force. Ah, blast, I forgot again. Only 3 characters here. This is my least favorite scenario because of the 3 characters.
Welcome to my store.
Yes, yes.
Can I help you find something?
Everywhere else you can scroll up to, but not in the shop. That's the second time I've shown the shop this run. Waste about 15 seconds each. Let's see, 1 is where I want to go. Alrighty, Chronicles 16, my least favorite of all of them. It's very long. It's even longer because you only get 3 characters for some reason that I really can't determine. There are 3 Soulcalibur characters on this map, too. You have to defeat Zos LML on the best mission ever, Down Lose. And Talim and Yun Sung are here together in number 2. They have a powerful whirlwind, but with the dancer they're not hard. But Zos LML's lots of fun because Down Lose, it's the only time in the game you'll see that mission. It means whoever falls to the ground first loses. They lose all their life, get shot up into the air as if they stepped on a landmine. A very powerful landmine. And it's game over. And of course Zos LML's AI is perfectly designed to just do little chip attacks that will knock you over.
Decisive battle.
No, we aren't actually going to be doing it because this is any percent, but that's what I would be doing on Soulcalibur percent. If you look at my previous Soulcalibur runs, you'll see me do it the last 3 weeks. It's a lot of time to take them on. This long thing. It's kind of sad though, because it's a lot more interesting in Soulcalibur mode because of the 3 Soulcalibur characters you get to fight. This one is so long and boring otherwise.
Battle 2. Fight.
You should really give up.
Battle 3. Fight.
When I'm playing casually, this is also one of the most dangerous maps because of the only 3 characters. Because Talim and Yun Sung are actually really, really tough to defeat too on their whirlwind unless you cheese them out.
But who knows what'll happen next time?
They're surprisingly easy to cheese with the with Xianghua spin compared to how hard they are to beat normally. Even with my Katana shoulder charge, which as you can see is nearly as cheese-tastic as the spin to win, they'll still have a very good chance of beating the crap out of me. It's just rough, though. So I have mixed feelings about not doing the Soulcaliburs on this run, because on the one hand, they spice up this really boring map a little, but on the other, they can be really difficult. Especially since Zos LML can just KO characters one right after another. When we have 3 of them. But I've had to restart in this scenario when I play casually more than any other scenario. 3 characters. Why on earth do I have only 3 characters? It's the last time in the game, though. Every other... The last 4 Chronicles, I'll get all 5 characters again, so that's going to be nice. That's really funny. Once again, a bit of pseudo-randomness here. My movement was just slightly different than normal, so... timing or something else, so that guy, instead of moving to defend, went to attack, which is fine, actually. That'll save me some time. I wonder if sometimes it's actually might be based on levels, too, or something. Because I think it's in Soulcalibur percent. I've seen this twice now in any percent, but never in Soulcalibur percent, that guy does not move to defend that citadel. I have more levels, of course, in Soulcalibur percent, because I've beaten so many Soulcalibur characters. They give a lot of experience. So, what's he going to do now? Okay, good. He's coming after me. That's what I would prefer. If he were to attack my citadel, this place is so long that I would actually have to go back to defend it. But I thought that's what he was going to do, was come after me instead. That's good.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Good. I don't want this character to give me any trouble because the other ones are hard enough.
Battle 2. Fight.
Ah, good. Meilon is like... oh, crap. That mess up could be deadly. Ah, that cost me. Meilon is like the hardest... Meilon there, whatever her name is. She's like the hardest nunchuck user in the game. Most of them are really, really weak and easy, but for some reason her stats seem higher and she just goes all out. Messing up that my lock there and letting her out was really bad, as you saw. Now I have a chance of losing to one of the next 2 people as well. In fact, I am not going to do it with Doria. I'm going to use Kane. Oh. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer than I thought it would. It's been a bit since I've done this, as I say. Okay. Should have waited a little bit longer to give the commands. Now I'm going to have to give them, recommand everybody. Oh well.
Battle 1. Fight. Ring out. Fight. Battle 2. Fight.
Just about all the characters on this map who aren't the generic Grandall soldiers are extremely hard. They have really high stats and really nasty AIs. As it says in the storyline,
This time, I am the victor.
it seemed as if the Emperor was waiting for our rebellion. So he has his best soldiers ready to deal with us. There's a significant jump up in AI between 15 and 16 for the most part, both in their stats and just their AI in general. Oh, I can go all the way through, that's right. Need to stop there. Only a couple characters left though, and then I'm done with this one. Nope, they only take half of the opponent's maximum health, which is both a good and a bad thing. It's still good to get ring outs, of course, because, you know, losing, especially on high health units, taking off half their health at once is really useful. But it also means that you aren't instantly killed if you get knocked out of the ring, so... Double-edged sword. Overall, I don't mind it. This guy's hilarious, trying to chase after me. He's an infantry, and just one of them, he'll never catch up to me. Just keeps plugging along. Okay, this one has a separate, which is annoying. It's not as bad as it was in Chronicle 13 against Hildegard. But it's still troublesome, especially for my dancer. Especially since she's low health. I'm probably going to lose her here. That's going to be a bit of a time loss, but...
Decisive battle.
Luckily, I had a pretty lousy map here on my PB, too. That's the balance time. I haven't been able to figure out, for some reason, my live split lists balanced as PB, and PB is balanced, it seems to be.
Battle
So I have it
one.
display the balance, because that's my actual PB. Your spin isn't as good as my spin. Ah, I got pushed out of range.
Ring out.
Yep, that's separate danger. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a time loss too. So I'm probably not going to gain a lot of time on this map. I haven't even hit with that. I need to not try it. Probably ought to go ahead and do a triple jump.
Battle 3. Fight.
Konami! No, no.
It's over.
Golly. If I was two characters here, that's going to be a big time loss. That's it. I hate separate. Glue is nothing. Glue pulls your characters together, which is advantageous to me. I like being closer to beat the crap out of them, but being pushed away is very bad. Ay, ay, ay.
Be careful from now on.
So I'll be lucky if I don't lose a bit of time on this one. Well, at least I've got a really good lead. The rest of this game has gone pretty well considering. Fortifying, so my guys will regenerate in this stronghold here. Now I have to wait for them to regenerate because this is just about the longest stretch of downtime in the entire game. It takes so long to take that citadel down. At least it's only level 4. If it were level 5, it'd have like 750 hit points or something. Maybe 800.
Decisive battle.
Luckily, the end boss isn't as hard as the guys I was just fighting for the most part. I say that and then it's gonna kill me. Jeez. That's the problem with this game, is sometimes that will just happen. The enemy will decide to destroy you and there's not much you can do about it.
Battle 2. Fight.
Did I do it? You can't.
Fight.
Did I do it? You can't. It looks like I'm just too strong for you.
Now our characters, story-wise, we'll discuss that the rebels who attacked us and tried to kill us in Chronicle 14 weren't actually Gerardo's rebels. They were agents sent by the Emperor, as the Emperor knew that we were going to be a problem. "30-second time loss," yeah, that's about right. Well, in this Chronicle, we have to fight all of our soldiers that we had in the previous campaign against Dalkia, or most of them anyway. But we're going to avoid fighting pretty much all of them. Good. Instead, we're going to fight some Soulcalibur characters. I used to not fight the Soulcalibur characters on any percent because they're level 60 and I wanted to try to avoid them. But I figured out that this is actually the shortest, quickest path with the fewest enemies to fight, so ended up being quite a bit faster just to go through them. It also means we get to see one of the more amusing missions. Utterly pointless, but amusing. So, except for Mega, who came out of this citadel and came to defend with Sortie here, none of your other characters that you would be fighting, your former allies, move out of their citadel. They're in specific citadels that
Decisive battle.
cater to their abilities or their move styles, I guess. We're going to avoid all that.
Battle 1. Fight.
Get ready. Don't show off.
Coin Collector! Darn it. The AI has really kicked up its aggressiveness in the endgame. That isn't good.
Battle 2.
Sophitia, level 60 Sage. $411 coins.
Did you enjoy my dance?
I did. I love that line. One of the interesting things about your custom characters in this game is they have most of their lines are determined by the alignment you pick for them using their clothing, but they also have some lines based on their class and voice that they'll use regardless of their alignment, and they're some of the more interesting lines, like Dancer line. Did you enjoy my dance? Though it wasn't in that time. Alright, second Soulcalibur character. It's interesting that most of the time when you have two Soulcalibur characters in a map, they're on opposite sides of the map, but this time, they're right in a line. And meanwhile, the little enemies are attacking my citadels. They'll take a couple of them. It means nothing. Now we're going to fight Tira.
Decisive battle.
Tira is the only Soulcalibur character whose moveset is available to 2 classes. Both thieves and assassins can use her set, but of course, for a Soulcalibur character, they made her an assassin because it fits her better, and she is far more powerful.
Fight.
This could be bad. She's a little bit too fast. This is going to be another time loss. My PB for this map went really, really well. It was nearly a gold. It's just a few seconds saved by how battles can go, but
Fight.
ay, ay, ay.
Did the pain set in yet?
Yeah, Soulcalibur characters can be tough being at level 60. Assassins are far more powerful than dancers are, so at my low health, I had a very low chance of being able to succeed. Especially when she was playing super aggressively. Gonna fortify here so Doria will come back in the Zora. Biggest problem with this speedrun when things don't go well in battles is that pretty much all your time losses are a cascade effect. If I lose the battle, then I have to waste time with the loading and everything. That takes up extra time, plus the death animation, which takes time, plus she's not there to continue taking down the citadel, which takes more time. But gives me areas for time saves on my next run as I get slowly better. Biggest problem with having a great early to mid game and then the end game being rough is that it doesn't feel, even if I get a PB, it won't be quite as fulfilling an accomplishment when I figure how rough it got. While when things go rough early on, but then I make a great comeback later on, you feel really good when you get a PB after a rough start. Oh well, we'll see how the last 3 Chronicles go. I could still gain or lose a lot of time. Good, I don't have to find anyone else. So way back in Chronicle 3, we saw a unique character who was just an ordinary custom-built character, a guy you can copy, but was extremely tall. Arion back in Chronicle 4, actually, was where we fought him. So this is the second giant. For whatever reason, Alios here is very, very tall. I shouldn't be trying to block. There we go. They've been so aggressive on me recently, I haven't had a chance to get my setup going. Finally had a good, relatively good string there.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Five losses is kind of average by this point with my main character, but it's usually spread out a little bit. Lost a minute there. Okay, Abilia 2. After being with us for so long, we get to fight Abilia for the second time, as she is lawful stupid and utterly protecting. There are a couple of difficulties with this battle. The first is that, once again, if my main character loses, you lose the entire scenario. Possibly. I might have to experiment with a bit of that if I continue having troubles with some of these later places. For the most part, with Xianghua against higher level AIs, I haven't found that almost any move is, other than the spin, is good for setting up. They tend to just block everything. I might have to actually try practicing a little bit more of actual battle tactics, as it were. Okay, so those guys totally ignored me, which is fine. They'll come back, though, is the problem. Ishtar.
In final battle, fight.
I completely forgot about it, but I'm now remembering that particular move, and actually that would be really good. I ought to try using it more. When I played casually, I used to use that move a lot, but since I started speedrunning, usually all I've had to do is the spin, and then I've just dealt with it or weathered the storm if they have difficulty in being set up, but probably ought to try mixing in a couple other things. Okay, special strategy here. Getting all four of them in a line, I can fight all four at once. And then I should have only 2 battles left in this entire scenario. Should. It depends on how fast that other guy, where he's going exactly.
Battle 1, fight.
I love this guy. Baldwin is level 3. All these other guys, even the generic soldiers, are like level 17, and he's a custom character, a unique character, and he's level 3. The programmers forgot what they were doing with this one. And he's followed up by a level 49 assassin. Out you go. I think the Baldwin is level 3 because of it is a slight programming error. This is the second time you fight Abilia, and when you fight Abilia in Chronicle 1, she has 2 unique characters that you fight as well, that you can fight. I only fight one of them, Ishtar and Notice. And you encounter them again here, but much higher level. Here's Notice. We actually fight him on this scenario, but not in the first time. And Ishtar was, I think, the first guy we fought. And I think that Baldwin was intended to be in that initial group, but they decided they only wanted 2 unique characters instead of 3, and so they pulled him. Like right when they shipped it out and replaced him with a generic character, or pulled him from the map entirely, I'm not sure. So when they added him back to this map, they have him programmed to... This is just my assumption. I think he's programmed to be level 3 the first time you fight him. And since this is the first and only time you fight him, he's level 3. Well, Notice and Ishtar, since they do appear on the map, they get upgraded when they reach this level. Now I have to make sure that I don't lose with my main character here, or else I have to start the scenario over.
Battle 1. Fight.
Dancers, man. Dancers.
Battle 2. Fight.
You should really give up.
These are generic soldiers, though, so they're easy to beat. Once again, this is a map that's totally different on Soulcalibur %, which I've been running recently, so since I haven't played it as much, I don't quite remember which guys I fight where. But that's why I wasn't afraid of, I did remember that I wasn't afraid of dying here, and that's why, because these are generic guys. I was playing around a little bit trying to try something new, and it didn't work. Used the wrong move. Even so, I wasn't in that much danger. Fortify this for safety. Cane, equip, wave sword. Let's see if it works better than it did against Gerardo. Okay. Pulling away for a couple of reasons. Might end up not mattering, actually. Or it would have not mattered if I'd stayed just a little bit longer. But this will prevent them from coming up on me from behind. And also, I do not want my main character in this battle, because she will lose, and if she loses, I lose the scenario and I have to restart it. However, there is a unique victory condition on this map. I don't have to take the main citadel, nor do I have to defeat all enemies. I only have to defeat one enemy, and that is Abilia. And then, regardless of what happens, as long as I don't lose my main character, I win.
I will not lose against a traitor, even if it is you.
Battle 1. Fight.
Abilia has wonderful Guardian Force. That's close. Jeez. She's using a lot of the moves that are not good to be using. Her and Gerardo today, both are being mean. Okay. Luckily her stats are really bad, especially compared to Gerardo, so she isn't that hard. It's just very annoying trying to fight somebody with Guardian Force on, since they don't react to anything, except for attack throws, which are not totally reliable. This is one of the most reliable attack throws I can use, which is why I switched to it. Not a big deal if I die here, especially since I'm planning on it. Big whoopty. I might gain a little bit of time here. That's good. I would gain even more time if I'd been able to beat her more easily, but
Fight.
Maxes, of all people, gets the kill. The guy who has done almost nothing.
Battle 3. Fight.
And is only level 18. Well, I don't need to kill anybody else, so let's suicide. I could probably beat these guys, but it would actually take a long time since they also have the Guardian Force, despite the fact that they don't have the aura. They don't have the visible aura on them, but they do have the effect, and so they would be really hard to beat normally. So it's just as easy to ring out. This is a map where it's very unfortunate the ring outs aren't insta-kill, since I have to ring myself out twice. Okay, please don't move around much and let me kill myself.
What? I can't believe this.
Oh, I lost. Why can't I win, says Abelia. Because you don't spin to win. Okay, nice time save. Not quite a gold, but much better than my previous personal best. And now we get joined by Abelia. She decides she wants to follow us after all. And Luna comes out of nowhere. Says, here's Soulcalibur. I was saved by Gerardo. He said take care of you if something happened to him. What? Okay, whatever. I love Chronicles of the Sword. I really wish that they'd added it to the previous, to Soulcalibur's 4 and 5 as well, variants of it. They could have done a totally new storyline or continued in the same world or whatever. Wouldn't have mattered. It's just fun to be able to have something to do with your custom characters. They have a so-called story mode for your custom characters in Soulcalibur 4 that was silly and a bit garbage, really. And then you could do the tower. Big whoop-dee. You could fight other people, but I've never been much of a competitive against other people kind of person, so I enjoy single player, and this is fantastic single player. But I guess they figured that people just wanted their custom characters to fight together online, and that's all they really wanted, so that's all they worried about for Soulcalibur's 4 and 5. If they really are planning to do a Soulcalibur 6 down the line, which I have mixed feelings about from a single-player perspective because of how they finally seemingly completed the story in Soulcalibur 5, but I really hope that they do more for your custom characters and have something like a Soulcalibur Chronicles of the Sword mode or something. This is a really long trek kind of map, just like Chronicle 16, but at least this time I have all 5 characters, so I can fight my way through a lot more quickly. If I was on Soulcalibur %, I'd be fighting Nightmare here. He's the last character, he's there. Siegfried was on the previous map. I totally ignored him and didn't even talk to you about him, but on that, when I'm playing that run, I would go south instead to go through Siegfried. It's a little bit slower, but it's still faster to send the entire party that way rather than have one character try and take him out like I do in some maps. I really hope so. Of course, that means I'm going to have to get a new gen system. I actually bought a 360 just because of Soulcalibur 4, and I haven't bought a PS4 and Xbox One, and I won't until Soulcalibur 6 comes out. That's what's going to convince me to buy the new gen system. If they do have some sort of mode that's like Chronicles of the Sword that you can make a speedrun for, I'm definitely going to be speedrunning that too and doing broadcasts like this for it as I work on it. That would be really great. But we'll see what they decide to do.
Battle 1. Fight!
Oh, I only got 179 coins this time.
Did you enjoy my dance?
Somehow that pose was perfect for that line too. Moving on. That's now time to do a little bit of AI manipulation again. For whatever reason, this next guy comes out of his citadel to fight instead of fighting in the citadel, so going to delay everybody else's orders for a bit. Both so I don't have to reorder them, and so I can just fight the enemy in the next citadel, because the next enemy is going to come to defend that one. The struggles, seriously, the struggles recently have been really quite real. I'm very frustrated by how some of the last few fights have gone, but I should be ecstatic by the fact that I'm in the next to last Chronicle and have a 3-minute lead on my PB. Or a 315 score is what I've been aiming for here, and I think I can improve it even more, but that's the current benchmark I'm at. And as long as I don't mess up either of these last two scenarios I should be able to manage that. Although, it's very easy for something to go wrong in the fight against Strife in the next Chronicle. We'll see how that goes. And did I not delay enough, or is she going to make it? Ah, she's a knight. I really hate the fact that they made both knights both a unit type there. She did make it good. They're both a unit type and a character class.
Decisive battle.
Of course, I think knights are pretty useless anyway. They're so slow. I hate them in general. Either as an opponent or using them myself. I'd much rather just see people running around with infantry.
Battle 1. Fight!
Ah, she rolled away. There we go.
You should really give up. It was a decent match.
Once again, my strategy has evolved from this one. I used to go through the upper level on any percent since I didn't have to get Nightmare. And then on Soulcalibur percent, I came in the back door so I could get to him more easily. But after testing it a little bit, it seems to me that it's no slower going through the bottom anyway. So, which is strange because it really looks like it's a much longer road, and it's not like I'm taking less citadels, but for some reason it does seem to be a little bit faster to go through the bottom back door route into the city.
Decisive battle.
Once I'm on the last stretch, I need to show off the best named mission in this game. I believe that's here on this map, if I haven't forgotten it.
Fight.
There we go. Yeah, I need to start using that more, especially later on. It's, there we go. Not bad. That was pretty good. Especially compared to how they've been recently.
Looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
The final battle.
Oh, I forgot to change his weapon. That's unfortunate. I'm not used to fighting this normally. Luckily, I'm fighting nobodies.
This fight was decided by fate.
First time I've ever done that, actually. Forget to change him out after the scenario.
Battle 1. Fight. Ring out. Final battle.
This was one of my careful, slower is faster map movements. Because of a general AI that the CPU uses.
This fight was decided by fate.
Once I start attacking the main citadel, pretty much every unit left on the map, except for Nightmare, is going to come retreating to the main citadel. So they're going to... So this upper place I ignored is, if I can find the right road, it's going to be coming. And I don't want them to come because they'll reach me beforehand and then I'll have to fight more battles and waste a ton of time. So, I came up with this strategy to prevent that from happening. Sending one guy ahead and then attacking this citadel from behind, they won't be able to get out. This has a bunch of combo places, including paralysis glue, which is paralysis and glue combined, and cure sapelite. Cure sapelite is supposed to be cure and separate, but it was badly English translated for some reason. So it causes cure and pushes you away. Mad Struggle is a couple of passive effects that aren't visual, so I can't remember what they do. Paralysis Glue is obvious, of course. Cure Sapelite is one of the more amusing ones. Lots of missions around here. So those two guys are stuck there. He's not going to make it through that citadel before I win, so... At this point, this scenario is GG, and especially since they have all guard break. All of these powerful missions on all these places, and they give all guard break to the one here, which is really useless. All unblockable can sometimes be bad, but all guard break means nothing for Chester 3, the final Chester battle. Yes, Chester, who he defeated back in Chronicle 10. He's back again. He survived. His hair color has changed. It's all white now. Emperor Strife has been using him as the lapdog. We actually saw Chester talking to Strife during Chronicle 14, which I believe suggests that Chester was the one in charge of rounding up the so-called rebels to try and kill me, my main character, whoever, you know, during that time, but didn't work out.
Battle 1. Fight.
Serves himself up on a silver platter with a high attack.
Battle 2. Fight. Ring out. Fight.
You should really give up.
Ta-da!
Did you enjoy my dance?
Glad I thought of that move. That's actually pretty good for early setups in these later ones. That's a pretty good split. Not bad, anyway. Not quite a gold, but I'll make up a little bit of time, which means that as long as I don't have a horrid final Chronicle, this will be a new PB. So you can fight on the world map. I never do it because it isn't worth it, except in this scenario. There are no strongholds to take. There are no strongholds to retreat to if you lose, so your guys will not come back in this scenario. If I lose my main character, it's over and I have to restart the scenario. But since there's just a bunch of guys, I can overwhelm them one at a time, since they also don't move. Now, ideally, I don't want to fight Strife with my main character because, number one, I don't want to risk losing, because it's very easy for him to kill a dancer, and number two, it wastes time with a cutscene that happens only if I attack him with my main character. So, since she isn't going to fight, I want her to take the majority of the damage in these fights. They will just do damage to whoever is the first person they come in contact with, and that's the only person they'll damage until they defeat that person or they are defeated. So, preferably, most of the damage will be taken by my main character, and she will get very low without dying. That's what tends to happen pretty easily without doing much else. But your characters are semi-random in how they maneuver around each other when they're all in the same lane like this. But luckily, since I'm not actually starting a Soulcalibur battle, I don't have to issue new orders either. They'll just continue walking through them like this. And also, it's preferable if my characters other than my main character level up, because my main character's level doesn't matter anymore since I'm not fighting with her ever again, unless everything goes wrong in this scenario. Max's gained level, that's good. It's whoever gets the last kill, I believe, who gets the experience for defeating one of these opponents on the map, and I believe it's the same amount of experience you'd get if you defeated them in battle. King's getting the majority of the experience here, it seems. However, none of the experience is going to the one character who it seems hasn't taken any damage yet. Ooh, this could be bad. I'm gonna have to risk a battle here. She's taking a little bit too much damage. I think she's not as high level as I've had her before. Usually she makes it through that with a sliver of health, but this time...
Battle 1. Fight.
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
Yeah, 39. She was 3 hits away from being killed. Maxis has taken no damage. It'll be hilarious if my useless Maxis is the one who beats Emperor Strife. We'll see. That battle's going to set me back a little bit, so I'm not going to get a 315, I don't think, but I should still PB here. That'll be good. Oh, he got the experience for that at least, so now he's level 25. 3 levels. That was good. King, use my next, just in case.
Final battle. Fight. Ring out.
Good start.
Fight.
As you can see, Strife has a purple bar, which means he has a lot of hit points, over 800 in fact. So ring outs are very good for defeating him, and that's GG actually. 315-18, I made it. Not bad. Whew. Now we just got the very small credits. And then I'll go ahead and finish this run up by showing off another video in the game that I'm planning on offering as a donation incentive for RPG Limit Break. Thank you, thank you. Stare, walk away.
Emperor died.
Emperor
Both
died.
the evil blade
Not
and the
Emperor
holy
Strife, just
blade
Emperor.
disappeared into darkness.
It's his first name, actually.
The empire collapsed, and the people were left only with devastated lands and the memories of the terrible war. The people, however,
Yep.
eventually forgot.
Now check out
the
the statue
hardships.
coming up. This
They
is great.
rebuilt the raised villages and sowed new seeds upon the destroyed fields. Then by the fireside, they told the tales. The tales
Check out that
of the
hand
great
on bottom.
ones who spilt their blood
What a
upon
statue.
those lands.
Animatronic.
The legend will never die.
Soulcalibur. 3.
I don't know why that happens, but yeah, at least with a Soul of Shanghua, that's the stance you usually get. I think the stance is partially determined by your alignment as well as, you know, their voice that you use in addition to that. So we're going to go to the museum. Art gallery is actually where it's at. I really love this movie. So I like to show it off because it's amusing. This is some great movement tech. Hop hop, Voldo. Crawl, 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 crawl. I really wish that I could somehow work Yoshimitsu Suicide into my run. Yep.
Was that too much?
I love that video. That's just a lot of fun. So that's going to be it for now. I need to try and figure out how to get my channels hosting because I need to start doing that after. That's a speedrun tradition, especially right now with AGDQ going on. So I'm going to see if I can figure out how to host Games Done Quick. But that's where I'm going next. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed my PB run as much as I enjoyed getting it. And next week I'm going to be doing a 100% run. That's going to be conquering all the strongholds, taking out all the enemies, saving all the soldiers in Chronicle 9. So that's going to take a long time. I'm not sure how long, but I haven't done it before, so I'm going to test to see what it is for a speedrun. So, later.